Renza la popolisa lina la go mo seretse ka ha no go tsara na ka teng. Nne re lopa ya go mo go fika ka thoma ga pelo. Gore ja ka re botsa gona gore re temole dilo dile. Re tare le go no go ithuta ka ga morana re ne le gona go fetoga ka mo go hatileng. Re ska rana ba utlwi ba le go hela mme ba dira kgatsi ba role. A go morana o tsenye moa a go mo go rona o re gone ka one. Gore ka gone mo re tara gona go le mo ga le se go lo re le netseng gona gore re thusane ba go 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 dimo. Ra itse gore morena re na le dikgotso tse di harologaneng. Ebile molaetsa o ta kana go ye tshwanetse ka gore wena modimo ka maotlo le go thuba gago mo bone go tshwanetse gore ngwana go nnye mo le mo yo mo le dilong le o na tshwanetse gore a ba le mo le dilong le mo dilaong tsa gago. Ra go le go ga gore modimo yo sa itse mo tsimala ruri ga bana ba go ba go eletsa go fena ba go ka thuso. Ne ke kopa ya gore morena e ka go ka re meet at our individual point of need. Me ba ra ke lo ba ya gore le bona ba ile gore yo ba buile gore ba taba buile rona ba sa go hatsa ka mo hiletseng. Me se se go sa ba ka la gore bole teng ja ga go ska ba go fela. Me ha dio se tuwe di tswa mo tlo go ba ga ba tshwanetse go go ka tshwanetse go ka di tha di go ka ra fela. Amen.
And Thabo has been the talk of town.
All right, so who believes that Thabo is meant to tell, to follow the Holy Spirit's leading and to tell his wife? Okay, mostly women, a few men. Okay, who believes that Thabo must keep quiet?
It's between him and God.
Take this to the grave. This is between him and God. Okay, wow. Sure, that's powerful. There's just a few people who believe Thabo should take this to the grave. Okay. So, let me just give you a little bit more of the backstory. We told a few people that we were sitting with. Thandi knew that Thabo affairs was his particular weakness. She knew. His download was slow. The Jesus in me, she knew.
She knew that
He was prone to affairs. This was before marriage, before Nandi. In fact, Nandi being Thandi's best friend, Thandi confided in Nandi and told Nandi that Thabo, he has a weakness, and his weakness is women. Now, Nandi called Thabo and said, but you are going far and I am here. Why would you go so far? When you are married, I'm married, you get what you want, I get the little bit of extra spice I want. The two families can operate together. Nobody needs to know.
That's right.
So when my brother?
Kindly repeat that.
Okay, repeat it. So Thandi knew about Thabo's weakness, his proclivity to having affairs. So she confides around a coffee shop table with her best friend Nandi, and she tells Nandi, hey, Thabo, that one.
is a problem.
Is a problem. And this is exactly where his problem is. Nandi plays the role of friend. Shame.
How could
let me pray with you. But Nandi contacts Thabo. I believe I know what your problem is, but I also know your solution. Instead of going far, I can actually help your wife. She doesn't have to find out. She can think you've changed. It's now between the two of us. So she falls pregnant with their son, and then Thandi can't have children, but is picking up the son, taking him to school, making lunches. Thandi is playing the perfect auntie role. Now, there is a day of homecoming, and Thabo's friend, childhood friend, comes to church. Now, she has come in, and there is all likeliness, unless the Holy Spirit leads in her life, there is a slim chance that she will be coming back after the day of homecoming. And she knows Thabo from Thabo was 2 years old. They have played together. And she said, Thabo, I have 7 children from 7 different men. So I am not here to judge you. But that child is you. I know it. You know it. I've known you from you were 2 years old. And that was you when you were 7. I don't need any proof. I'm not even asking you if it's true. I'm telling you. That is your child. And she said to him, you are leading the choir, and you're telling me that you're starting a business with your wife. She says, I don't know much about Christianity, and I will never share this with anybody. But if you are serious about your relationship with God, you better fix it. And she disappears into the sunset, and Thabo never sees his childhood friend again. But the Holy Spirit uses this childhood friend to loosen the tooth. Thabo says, where did she come from? Wow. So Thabo, at the point of this story, is still enjoying his extra slice of cake with Nandi. He's enjoying himself. But remember, whilst you're enjoying, the Holy Spirit can still be speaking as you are wiping the corners of your mouth.
Have mercy.
Holy Spirit still speaking while you are adding a little bit of Vaseline to make the cake dough go down nicer. And so what does Thabo do? He appreciates he can go to his grave. But Thabo wants intimacy with God. And God is telling Thabo, a vertical relationship means nothing if it doesn't translate horizontally. Because too many of us have vertical relationships, but we struggle with the people on earth. And so Thabo tells Thandi.
So no, he tells Nandi first.
Oh, he tells Nandi.
Yeah.
Nandi, this is over. And I'm telling you, you better fix up and you better tell your husband.
And it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
It was not easy. It was not fun.
It was not easy. So he says, you better tell your husband, because I've come to a stage where every lesson study I open is about truth. Every lesson study that I, as the teacher, am teaching the class is preaching to me first. And I know I can go to my grave with this, but I am ready to blow up my life for peace. For peace, I am ready to blow up my life. So Nandi tells him, there is no way that after 7 years and your wife picking up our child every day that you are going to blow up your life. I don't believe it. I'm calling your bluff. Go ahead and do it. So Thabo tells Thandi, let's speak tonight. Nandi doesn't know what's happening, but she thinks that this is... Thandi doesn't know what's happening, but she thinks this is a second chance at spring. So she goes and does her hair. She gets her nails done. She thinks he's taking her out to dinner tonight. She thinks he's about to get romantic. But his road to romance, it is a road to romance, but it's a long road to Tipperary. And he tells his wife, Thandi, who flips. Firstly, she realized that all that time she was confiding in her best friend, that she wished she had confided in someone else. She struggles, and in fact, she runs. She buys a one-way ticket like Jonah out of the relationship. She tells her mother. She in fact, she goes and stays with her mom, and her mom says to her, "Your husband told you. You didn't find out. You didn't need to find out. That is a man worth 1,000 men." Because the fact that he told you is something I would value. If your father ever did, as hurt as I am, you must remember he came to you with honesty. She's a singer. She fell down a flight of stairs as she was about to perform. She broke
during their separation period.
During their separation period, and her Achilles heel gets damaged. So damaged, she's in hospital for 6 weeks. Thandi.
Yeah.
His brother dies, and she knows, I need to be by my man while he's grieving. We aren't on the same page. We may be in the same book, but we are certainly not on the same page. And then she says, as she sat in hospital, the Holy Spirit said to her, "You do not have the same problems."
Speak up, speak up.
"You do not have the same problems as Thabo, but you are not problem-free. Your husband told you because I impressed upon him to take the marriage to another level, and this is the door to another level." And so she goes and she stands by him while he's at his brother's funeral, and she says, "You know what? We're going to make this work."
Gave to him what he did not deserve.
She gave to him what he didn't deserve, what he didn't think was possible. Today, this marriage is stronger, more powerful than ever before. Now, Nandi's husband called the pastor immediately when he found out, because Nandi never told him. He found out. To be honest, the church dealt with this so badly.
Badly.
Poorly. Poorly, 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 poorly. They lost friends. They lost family. It divided a church. But this couple is shining like a light. They are in spring.
And the child.
And the child today would be 18.
18.
18 years old. We are so proud of this couple. Because for many, a rope might be the considered act. Taking something, but the Holy Spirit knew that after the anger subsided, they would be stronger for the experience. I don't know where Nandi is today. I don't know the state of their marriage, but I do know that Thabo and Thandi fighting strong. And they, if they were here today, they would tell you that they would do it again and again and again. Why? because it's better to know what you're dealing with than for lies to continue. You can get through this. I wish that our church was at the level of maturity to hug them, hold them, help them, lift them up, because when Jesus found the woman in adultery, he said, go and sin no more. He didn't say, let's have a meeting. He said, go and sin no more. And we've told you this story, and I'm sure Thabo and Thandi will go to Botswana with you. And Nandi. But I want to tell you that wherever you find yourself wrestling to level up, if the Holy Spirit is calling you to it, he has an option that is far greater than any of us can see. And even those who turned their back on them yesterday, today they have to say no choice but respect due. Wow. What you guys have, I wish I had that. Over to you, Nems. Thank you so much.
So this story. What did you say? Sorry?
Please don't try this at home.
Huh?
Please don't try this at home.
You'd be surprised to know that even though we have changed the name of the couple actually came to Botswana to share their story over a decade ago. We brought them to Botswana to share their story. We're only sharing it with you again, and the only reason we're not choosing to give the names is because it's been recorded. But this is a very powerful and very true and very authentic story about what is the worst thing that could ever happen in a marriage and it still survive. And not only survive, but thrive. And this is also a story about how we can make cultural decisions. Listen carefully, guys. It's also a story about how we can make cultural decisions versus spiritual decisions. And we can allow our cultural influence to determine decisions that God has not ordained. We are concerned oftentimes about the fallout, the impact, the long-term reality. Such is the nature of sin. It does have a long-term impact. But the Bible also says, where sin abounds, grace outstrips it. Does that make sense? Where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. And as a result of that, Paulette and I for many years had a workshop called Uncensored Grace. And Uncensored Grace was based upon real people, real stories, and the grace of God. And these stories were done on Sabbath at 11 o'clock divine hour. So when folks are looking for a sermon, we'd have an Oprah-type setting where the very platform would be turned into a stage where we would have couples on a Sabbath morning. Children would have children's church, and then we'd have the adults in the church where they would share stories that are happening in the church, but nobody wants to talk about. Nobody. Because we're too embarrassed to talk about it. And that's why the church then becomes a place of a lack of authenticity. It's a hospital full of sick people, but everybody's the doctor and there's no sick people. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. We're all sick. And the problem is that until we can get to grips with our condition and our sickness, the church can never be real to the community, because the true community continues to see hypocrites as opposed to real people. And that was the purpose of us sharing this story with you, not for the sensationalization of the story, but rather to demonstrate that God fixes mess. And not only does he fix mess, your mess becomes your message. And if you allowed your mess to become your message, so much more people would be saved. But the church is full of mess with a message it doesn't want to share. And we wonder why the church can't grow.
I mean, my question has always been, why would God talk about everything else
Yes.
and not talk about sex?
Yes.
So apparently it turns out he does talk about sex.